Okay, good morning everybody. I'm making this video through my video app on my phone. Now that means that I don't need any whatsoever internet connection at all. Okay? In order to make the video. I just tried to start a video not even a minute and a half ago, and 24 seconds into the video, it stopped recording, and then a little dialog box came up on my home screen saying no internet connection. Now, there's no internet connection needed to make a video because the video is being made through my camera app on my phone, and then the video itself gets saved to my SD card that's been put into my phone. So let's see if that happens in this video. Okay, now my name is Leslie Williams. Today's date is April 28th, 2021. And I am this video is not going to be that long because I'm making it as I'm preparing to leave for today. So I apologize if there's any background, intermittent background noise in the background. I do apologize for that, but my schedule is so congested. I have to, a lot of times I'll make a video, especially like when my Periscope accounts were allowing me to make videos. Periscope no longer allows anybody to make videos. Any videos that they had already made that were saved in their accounts are still watchable. But I think it started occurring, well, on April 1st, no one could no longer make any videos through Periscope. And I think that it began in January to where no one could even create Periscope accounts, January 2021. And then Periscope got shut down in relation to you being able to make videos through Periscope on April 1st. And let me interject this statement here real fast. Check this out. 36 hours after Periscope no longer allowed anybody to make Periscope videos through their app, they staged an event towards me at a new wooded area that I had been utilizing for a very short time period. Now, I even predicted that in my tape recorders days leading up to that date, April 1st, because I already know that gang stalking will love to stage events against you when your phone is off. Because if you got your phone on and you were able to bring up, trying to make the least amount of noise as I can as I'm talking to you, because I don't want that noise to interfere with your ability to hear what I'm saying. When you got your phone on, when Periscope was active, meaning that when it was active to where you could bring it up and record a live video, gang stalking crimes were very skillful. I mean, I've had Periscope videos sabotaged in the past. In real time, when I'm trying to catch evidence being propped up directly towards me and or directly around me connected to this crime at multiple places. Okay, at wooded areas, because this crime intentionally made me homeless in 4 apartments in Michigan and 1 in Tennessee. Research interstate stalking and gang stalking. Research how they will make victims homeless. Research all my descriptions to gang stalking at Google, and sometimes you will absolutely be able to bring up very good information at YouTube related to specific descriptions. Okay. Related to certain descriptions. Alright, so bear with me a minute. Now, see, because when they stage an event towards you, the people who use the people that they use for a staged event, well, they already, it's not widely reported on the internet that cyber surveillance is one of the covert crimes occurring in gang stalking. Which means that these little satanic mass murdering, human trafficking animals who are hosting this crime at the federal, state, and local level, well, they already, it's reported that those demonic rats, okay, including obviously the ones at the state, county, and local level that are perpetrating this crime at the state, county, and local level against all victims, dedicated to the jurisdictions and states they're living in, are cyber surveilling every bit of all of the victims' internet activity, no matter where that victim is using the internet at. Whether it's at a library, a university library, a coffee shop, on their own laptop, or like, let's say, a library computer, their phone. Every single bit of every single activity that every single gang stalking victim uses on the internet. Meaning all internet activity, all phone activity, all tablet, all computer activity is monitored 24/7. Now that's so research cyber surveillance and gang stalking. Research, in fact, you can even research internet harassment and gang stalking. That's how bad this crime is. So, to kind of condense this, to close up this one statement here related to this, I would try and bring up Periscope to go live, to record a staged event or an event that looks like it would unfold into a massive staged event along my routes and even at wooded areas, and my phone would turn itself off. Periscope would shut down. And then when Periscope was allowed to either be brought up and or continued, when I, like let's say if a staged event happened, they would even go as far as stage events that would happen very fast, begin and end within a minute when my phone was off. Because these little satanic rats, they not only monitor all your activity on your phone, but they also monitor your exposures concerning this crime that you expose on the internet, Periscope, YouTube, your blog, and shit like that. So meaning that they will go as far as monitoring your responses that you state concerning how you respond to this crime in your exposures. So if you make a Periscope video saying, this is what I did because of what was propped up, well, they're logging your responses to their props. So they can then take that information and say, okay, well, we can obviously see she's making YouTube videos and exposing the audio evidence that she is able to capture of the verbal harassment propped up along my routes. Okay. So we can see how she's responding to the verbal harassment. So then we can see how she's responding to the staged events towards her and towards her property. So when we stage an event, let's do it really fast when the phone's off. Or let's stage an event, and if the phone's on and we see that she's bringing a Periscope, let's prevent her from being able to, let's interrupt her cell phone signal so she can't bring Periscope up, and they know you can't prove that's being done intentionally, and they'll just say, well, maybe your phone was acting up, maybe your service provider was under, its phone service was temporarily under maintenance. You just would not believe, oh my God, you literally would not believe. Now this information comes from the testimony I've seen of researchers and other victims concerning why they weren't able to record staged events propped up through gang stalking on their, even as far as concerning many other types of electronic devices that can be used to record, especially video record staged events. Because you got to remember, gang stalking is directly connected to mass murder, extreme sadistic mass torture at the epidemic level, massive human trafficking of all forms, including extreme forms of human trafficking, racketeering schemes, insurance fraud schemes, medical insurance fraud schemes, included illegal probate control schemes, and much. They're involved in hundreds and hundreds of criminal motivations. Every crime you can think of, they're involved in, and they are absolutely involved in crimes that you would not even imagine. So trust me when I say they know everything they're doing in gang stalking are Class A felonies, massive amounts of misdemeanors on a daily basis against each victim. So they know what they're fucking doing. So they know when they stage an event, if they can go out of their... Do you believe that a crime that is committing these types of crimes at the epidemic level all over the country, literally, and when you research gang stalking, you'll see millions of posts. Like if you went to Google and typed in targeted individuals and gang stalking, look at how many Google generated responses you get. Hold on. Look at how many Google generated responses you get. And by the way, I am tape recording my statements right now on a running recording digital tape recorder. So let's see if this video, once it's concluded, let's see if it's taken off the phone. Because I've endured that on a massive scale too, on at least 5 separate phones. Okay? Oh, that's fucking lovely. And the reason why I've had 5 separate phones is because of either not being able to enjoy the service plans of the prior phones once they were changed after I bought the phones. A couple phones got intentionally permanently jammed through these satanic rats. Research electronic destruction and gang stalking. Remember, Google all my statements of gang stalking pertaining to the descriptions. Now, hold on. I am going to talk fast in this video so I can get as much information out as I possibly can while I'm preparing to leave. And this video is already slowing me down because I'm getting distracted in it. Hold on a second, because sometimes your statements take concentration, okay? All right, so bear with me a second. I got to grab something here real fast, so bear with me. So I'd be at this has happened at several places, including universities, and this has happened at wooded areas pertaining to my following statement. I'd be at places trying to capture a gang stalking propped up staged harassment. On a few occasions, propped up staged events. Like one time I was on an MTS bus heading towards Vaughn's on Arabia Street and Regents Road off in La Jolla, California, which is located in San Diego. And I had this I had a gut feeling that they might stage an event because they were due for one. Because this crime, what it does, related to most of what it does, is that it nonstop. Hold on 1 second. I apologize for the intermittent breaks. I gotta feed my squirrel here. Come here, baby. Come here, honey. There you go, sweetheart. Anyways, so this crime will repeat identical crimes against all victims cyclically, which means that it will basically, say if it commits 10 identical crimes against one victim, even though they do this against all victims, the majority of victims, like 99% of the victims, what they'll do is so to give you an example of this particular sub-issue, is that they'll commit 10 different types of crimes against the victim concerning the overall program that they are perpetrating against the victim through the gang stalking program. So that means like they'll use a certain amount of things that are done within the sensitization method, certain amount of things that are done concerning dark neurologistic programming techniques, certain things, and the direct conversation method, and mind pattern programming, which is connected to this crime. All of that shit's done for brain entrainment, and all brain entrainment is done for the sake of remote neuromonitoring. Now, I know that's a lot of information to digest it, and you're probably not understanding it, especially if you don't know anything about gang stalking at all, which is why you need to extensively research my descriptions, and then you'll eventually become aware of what all this means through the knowledge that comes up through the in-depth research. Trust me, okay? So, one victim, say if one victim experiences because I experience identical verbal harassment every day along all my routes and at wooded areas that I'm forced to utilize because this crime intentionally made me homeless. And if I was to go to a homeless shelter, they would absolutely gang stalk me to there. They would use clients, fellow homeless people, they would use staff, they would use police, stage events at these homeless shelters, set you up. So when you're homeless and by yourself, and you got recording devices, it's harder to stage an event towards you, especially if you're predicting the events on Twitter, in your audio tape recorder, on videos, in emails, and in your blogs, right? That's why they hate recording devices. Hold on a second. Because the satanic bitches who are hosting this, they know how you're responding to it because they watch all your exposures. That's part of the reason of the cyber surveillance going on, okay? So it's easier to stage an event against a person at a homeless shelter because when they stage events, they'll stage witnesses, and the victim is isolated and all alone. And so even if the victim says, look, I can show you what factually happened during the event because it was recorded on my tape recorder, they'll refuse to listen to that evidence. And then even set you up to be arrested because of the staged event and then erase the evidence. They did that at SDSU towards me back in 2013. That event was predicted in my tape recorder right before I walked in. Literally. So, I'm not shooting off into the different directions here. Trust me, I plan on closing up my initial statement. The point being is that, concerning this sub-issue, is that, so let's say if you got, even though this happens to each victim, say if you got one victim, and that one victim is experiencing 10 different identical repeated crimes, meaning that each crime is identically perpetrated each day. One or two of those crimes, of those 10, are repeated every day around the victim. Then when they're done doing that, they'll go back and do two other identical ones that have already been perpetrated against the victim. And they'll do that for a month. Then they'll start another 2 of the 10 and do that for a week or a month. And then they'll go back and do another 2 of the 10. And then when they're done doing that for a week or a month, they'll then go back and do the first 2. So that means that they're recycling the same techniques. The victim can be hit with direct energy weapons real bad for 10 straight days. Then they'll ease up on that for maybe 3 or 4 days and go back to nonstop other identical techniques that they employed. Remember, this is a program. And it's a program that perpetrates techniques and methods and tactics brought about through technologies and by and through the community-based harassment. And the staged events are also part of the community-based harassment. Gang stalking is the crime of gang stalking, which is also called organized stalking, is a program of techniques, tactics, methods, covert cooperating relationships between businesses, universities, libraries, transportation services. Any business a victim goes into is utilized against most victims, and so on. And then these places are used, to employ gang stalking techniques through the community. And then I have no doubt in my mind at all that some of the people that are being used in this crime are syndicate wannabes, people that they might also be setting up down the road, Okay, and that's a little bit more complex, so I'm not going to go off into that. But just trust me when I say everything that's coming out of my mouth is the absolute truth. Oh, absolutely. You would not believe what I know about these satanic rats. Oh, absolutely. These are the most evil, satanic, demented, freaked out maggots that have ever walked this planet. And I am referring to the host of this crime. So, the victim is kept in a non-stop, perpetual, cyclic program, meaning that the program is just non-stop, endlessly perpetrated against the victim's life, every aspect of their life, against the victim's property, against the victim's freedom, against their autonomy, against their mind and body, and that has to do with the neural weaponry, which also can include the electromagnetic weapons, directed energy weapons, remote neural monitoring, voice to skull with voice morphine, silent sound spread spectrum, and much more. So this is a program, my fellow American citizens. It's a sadistic program of annihilation, non-stop sadistic torture before the death is intentionally induced, and it can be induced remotely through this technology. You should also research neural weaponry and gang stalking. In fact, check this out. Since I got this video up, I'm going to go ahead and show you this book. We're going to see if this fucking video disappears off my phone before I can upload it today, and we're going to see if it becomes edited, which is another reason why I tape record my statements when I make a video. So I can be at a wooded area and they can try and stage an event towards me really fast when the phone is off, because they don't want it recorded who they're using for the staged event and how it brought about in real time. They can also interrupt the sound quality of the video as well. That's been repeatedly done in Periscope videos and in videos from my camera. Look at this book. Global Brain Chips and Messages. Okay, nano machines for ultimate control of false memories. Research that to remote neural monitoring. Written by Dr. Hildegard Staninger. Let me show you her name real fast, because it's a name that you might have a hard time spelling if you just hear it verbally. Okay, so that's how you spell her name, and this is her last name. This is an excellent book. All gang stalking victims should get this book. It's only $23 on Amazon. Excuse me. Let me repeat the name of it again. Global Brain Chips and Messages. Okay. Nano machines for ultimate control of false memories, but it's about much more. It shows in here massive amounts of eye lens implants. It discusses I think it might even mention, but don't quote me, dental implants. Okay, nasal implants, remote neural monitoring eye lens implants, brain implants, and much more. And it even shows graphs of the frequencies. It shows some of the implants that were taken out. This is the microscopic view of them. And it even shows on many pages the frequencies that were emitting from the implants. Here's the graphs of those. She's a doctor. Now, when you go to Google and you type in at Google, let me see if I can show you a couple other images here. When you go to Google, this is absolutely... Now, this book, you're going to have to do extensive research related to most descriptions so you can understand what that is, concerning what they mean. I mean, look at these implants. So go to Google, and these are implants at the microscopic level. So you're seeing a lot of body tissue and stuff like that around the implant itself. Nano implants and much more. Okay? No, so just research implants and gang stalking. Because victims of gang stalking are being used for sadistic, torturous, non-consensual human experimentation projects. That's other mass crimes connected to gang stalking. And I want you to know right now, my fellow American citizens, that every single millisecond of every single time the implants are activated, it's nothing but non-stop sadistic torture. From A to Z, from 1 to 10. Every single time the implant is used for nothing but sadistic, demented, depraved torture. And implants are also being used to assist in the sexual human trafficking of victims. And that can include implants put in the brain, implants put in the eyes, ears, mouth, nose, and in the private parts of males and females. You know, their private areas. Okay? So, you know, do you honestly think that any crime that is a crime at the epidemic level, that's a crime that's connected to the most extreme crimes that the human family has ever endured in the entire history of the human family. That's a large statement, but it's an absolute factual one from beginning to end. That's what this crime is responsible for at the epidemic level. So do you honestly think the satanic bitches who are hosting it at the federal, state, and local level, all over America, at the epidemic level, do you honestly think that when they said to themselves, when they created this program, before they initiated it against the first victim, do you honestly think that they did not say to themselves, we got to put in protective mechanisms and protocols to make sure each victim is not allowed to prove anything and everything they're enduring through this crime, and who's used to assist in it? And that's mostly referring to the community-based harassment, because good luck trying to friggin' prove that your brain and body is being hit with electromagnetic weapons. Imagine waking up and feeling electricity going through your entire brain. Now, I know this shit sounds a little crazy pertaining to its descriptions, because it's not your average, everyday type of crime description. Trust me when I say. That's one of the additional reasons why I took that extra minute and a half out of my schedule this morning to show you that book. That's one book of hundreds that are on the internet. So, this video, making this video, is becoming very distracting concerning me moving forward. Concerning me doing what I got to do in order to leave today to get my day started. So I'm going to start wrapping this up just a little bit. So if I seem a little distracted right now, I still want to get in as much information as I can. Please bear with me if I seem a little distracted or if I'm making noise, but I got to get ready to start my day. So right now I'm going to give you the name of 3 other books. All right, hold on a second, because I just realized this phone only allows me to make 33-minute long videos, and I'm already approaching 22 minutes. So I got to hurry up, okay? So check this out. All right, so here's the name of 3 books. Remote Brain Targeting by Renee Pittman. The Invisible Crime by Mike Fitzhugh-Bell. And here's another title that's going to really blow your mind. Listen to this. Electronic Rape. I'm sorry. Let's see if I remember this correctly. It's written by Jewel Cran, K-R-A-Y-A-N. Electronic Torture, Electronic Rape, Technology, and Gang Stalking at the Post Office, written by Jewel Cran. And she even, in that book, she even talks about how one day she felt something crawl on her brain. That's nanotech. Because nanotech can get into anybody by breathing it in. It can be put in food, water, anything you eat or drink. It can be put in the air through vapors. It can be put in through the skin. This is literally how bad this fucking crime is. And please excuse my swearing. Anyways, so those are 3 books of hundreds. And Remote Brain Targeting by Renee Pittman is extremely informative, because it shows all throughout the book patterns of different technologies that are reported to be used. You should also go to Google and type in surveillanceissues.com. By the person that runs that website is Paul Beard. And let me play a couple minutes of an audio file here real fast from an interview from Brian Q. So listen to this.
Project Soul Catcher, that it can all be traced back to 4 main agencies or organizations who are behind it all. At least if you're and those 4 organizations and agencies behind it all start with the Department of Defense, my former employer, who provides all the money, all the funding through their Black Ops budget. Then it's the National Security Agency, which provides the top scientists. But primarily it's the CIA and the DIA, the Central Intelligence Agency and the Defense Intelligence Agency, which provides the contractors, the handlers, the operators, these hive mind teams. They're the ones that are basically responsible for the torture and assassination of mind control victims for the purposes of training, research, and development. It's the CIA and DIA that's targeting and attacking people. They're using contractors. These government contractors that they're using, these hive mind teams, are mainly cognitive researchers, people who have some degree of expertise in the area of the mind, particularly as it relates to memory and thought process. So you're talking about these hive mind teams, these government contractors, these cognitive researchers being psychiatrists, psychologists, neuroscientists, behavioral scientists, and so on. And they are mainly responsible for the training, research, and development are dedicated to the victim, the target. Now, not everyone has hive-mind teams that are dedicated to them. Most people are just remotely tied to a supercomputer. And we'll get into that shortly.
Now, you're talking about TIs. Some TIs have a hive-minded team working them. That's what you're saying?
Right. Well, as soon as a person is selected for this technology, all the empty or available apartments.
Okay, so I tell you what, since I got some background noise going on through traffic, what I'm going to do is tell you how you can get to Brian Two's interviews. Now, that particular interview was done through the Rense Radio YouTube channel, RENSCE, I believe is how it's pronounced. So if you have a hard time finding it, so here's a way that you can try and YouTube it, but you'll definitely be able to find it if you go to Google. You should also know that Brian Two has got a lot of YouTube interviews on the internet. So here's a way to find his interviews, including hopefully finding this one. What you want to do is go to, let's just say you're at either Google search box or YouTube search box. Type in Brian Two. His last name is spelled T-E-W, okay? And so go to Google. Here's a good way for you to find Brian Two in general. Go to Google and type in Brian Two, the Two Hypothesis, Dr. Eric Karlstrom, okay? And there's an excellent YouTube video online that's got that and Anthony Patch. And it's got a YouTube video literally called The Two Hypothesis. You want to begin with that video, but you don't necessarily have to begin with that video. Then go to Google and YouTube and just type in Brian Two, ex-DOD contractor, and electronic harassment, remote neural monitoring, stuff like that. Trust me, you'll find his interviews. They're all over YouTube. They're all over Google. Now, this particular one came from a Jeff Rense, who does a lot of interviews. He's had interviews before with Deborah Tavares, who's done a lot of good work. So he went on to say, I'll just make a couple fast statements concerning things exposed in this video. I don't know if you heard it because the tape recorder slipped away from the phone. He states the 4 primary agencies that are hosting this sick shit from behind the scenes are the NSA, the DOD, the CIA, and the DIA. Now, I already know for a fact this crime has military attachments in it, and you would not believe what I know about that. Oh, absolutely. And I don't expose the military that much because, to be totally honest with you, the military scares me because victims of gang stalking already know they're powerless just over the community-based bullshit we endure. I mean, come on, do you really think your average person, especially a poor person, especially a person who's poor and homeless, made homeless through this crime, okay, do you really honestly, and since this crime is completely, these satanic bitches, they have influence over all hospitals, all medical centers, all medical clinics, even doctors that have private practices. Google all my statements. Good luck trying to get implants discovered. Okay, through fMRIs, MRIs, CAT scans, and x-rays. I mean, you are literally, you got, like, James Walbert and David Larson. Googled the David Larson torture report in gang stalking, and then researched James Walbert electronic harassment. There are quite a few, and Mike Fichu Bell. He also was able to, he had to go out of the country to be able to find a doctor to help him discover a few of the implants in him. And they friggin' broke into his home. They drugged his something he bought at the store, some type of beverage he bought at a store. He brought it home, put it in his refrigerator. He's even exposed this on national radio shows he's been on. And he put it in his refrigerator, and then when he went to subsequently go drink it, he took one drink out of it and it knocked him out. They kidnapped him and drugged him. Go to Google and research how they're putting gases in gang stalking victims' air conditioning ducts and heat ducts. And then waiting until that gas, which is nothing but a sleep agent, it knocks the victim out, and then they literally go into the victim's house and implant them in their own house. Now, trust me when I say even Dr. Hildegard Staniger has exposed this in her online interviews. Go to Google and type in at Google, because I meant to say this earlier when I showed her book a few minutes ago. She's got online interviews, including with Derek Robertson and Melinda Kidder. So go to Google. I'm going to tell you how to get to her online interviews, and I guess start wrapping this up. Go to Google and type in at Google the following. Dr. Hildegard Staniger, and I already showed you her book, so you know how to spell her name. Dr. Hildegard Staniger, so you're typing this in at Google. Dr. Hildegard Staniger, Melinda Kidder, okay, Blogspot Radio, One Cell Light. C-E-L-L Light. One Cell Light. O-N-E Cell Light. Okay? And then you'll see her blogs come up. Now, within her blogs are the radio interviews that all you got to do is once you find the blogs and you go into the blogs, she leads you to the interviews by text, and then the interviews are attached in the blog, and all you got to do is click on the play button, and then boom. Listen to that. Listen to those interviews. There's at least 10 of them online. They'll blow your mind. Oh, they will literally blow your mind. Okay? You'll hear directed energy weapons, implants being discussed, the whole 9 yards. See, my fellow American citizens, I want you to listen to me and listen to me carefully because I got to wrap this up. I'm approaching 33 minutes. This phone only allows me to make 33 minutes videos at a time. So I want you to listen to me. Your body, your mind is yours. No one has the right. No one has the right. No matter what these little satanic mass murdering animals believe in their own thinking processes. It doesn't matter what they believe. They're criminally insane animals. What I'm saying to you as a human being is this. When you look at yourself in the mirror, whenever you do, when you're going to the bathroom or brushing your teeth, you look at yourself, you say to yourself, would you want anybody, okay, torturing you, non-consensually implanting you, and then using the implants for torture, taking over your entire life and subjecting you to non-stop daily victimization, including the victimizations through the directed energy weapons, the electromagnetic weapons, ultrasonic sound, bone conduction, where your life is nothing but a non-stop existence of non-stop hell, including when you're sleeping. Because they'll hit you with this shit when you're sleeping, and when you wake up, you're literally feeling electricity going through your brain. That's how bad this crime is. Now, if you don't know anything about gang stalking or never heard anything about this in the past, then you might be saying to yourself, this shit sounds too bizarre, sounds crazy. She must be crazy. Well, you better understand this right now. This shit's even been covered on National Radio Show repeatedly. I thank you for listening. I thank you for being with me. My fellow American citizens, please stay with me. Thank you for listening. I'm going to try and put this video on YouTube. Let's see if that can happen. Everybody have a good day. I got to go because I'm approaching 33 minutes. I hope you learned something through this video. Please research what I've stated. Please stay tuned to the YouTube account this video ends up in and in my blog, which I have discussed in previous videos dedicated to those dedicated YouTube accounts. Have a good day, everybody.